It is time, that favorite time for me, to check in with Keith Bilbrey because people send in questions. And you've been leaving them for me in that comments section, as well as in our My 2 Cents at TBN.TV mailbox. So with great trepidation, I turn it over to Keith Bilbrey, who is going to pose the questions to me tonight.
They're going fairly easy on you tonight.
Good.
Patrick from Berkeley Springs, West Virginia. Governor, I am perplexed. How can Biden and Pelosi both say they are devout Catholics, yet continue to do and say things that are in total opposition to their religion? I'm sure that they, just like me, have to answer to the Lord when they meet him. Thank you for your time.
Well, you know, it has been difficult to understand, particularly on the issue of the sanctity of life, because, quite frankly, if it weren't for the Catholics, we would not be near where we are in moving toward a more pro-life country. I've often said that the evangelicals were late to the game. We followed the cue from our brothers and sisters in the Catholic Church who were consistent from the beginning of the abortion debate that it is just inherently wrong to take the life of an unborn child, and recognized that every person has worth and value and that we shouldn't devalue another human being. So I don't understand how both Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi, who both claim to be devout Catholic, can do something that is in such direct opposition to the teaching of their own church. But I'll leave that to them and God. In the meantime, I will be unapologetically pro-life and also unapologetically grateful to my Catholic brothers and sisters for being consistent and stalwart in standing up for the lives of all human beings.
Well, Kenneth from Yorba Linda, California. Delta and United are against requiring photo ID to vote because minorities supposedly are less likely to possess such ID. However, the FAA and the airlines require photo ID in order to fly. If minority people obtain their photo IDs, wouldn't that enable them to fly on those airlines if they wanted?
You know, Keith, of all the things that I don't hear enough about, if I were a minority person, I would be utterly insulted that the politicians on the left don't think that I'm intelligent enough to go down and get an ID. And they somehow think that it would make me less capable of voting to have an ID. Well, first of all, geniuses, I've already got to have an ID to do about anything, from cashing a check, using a credit card, checking in a hotel, or for that matter, just being able to get on an airplane or virtually anything we do in our culture anymore. In fact, to get into a major league ballpark and pick up your tickets, you got to have a photo ID. So this idea that people who are a minority and people who are poor, they wouldn't know how to handle a photo ID, I consider that the most disgusting insult to their intelligence. You see, I think they're equal to me in their capacity to think and to be able to function. And I personally would love to see more people who are accused of not being able to get their ID stand up to these politicians on the left and tell them, I know how to have an ID because I got one. You know who I think doesn't have an ID? We say that down in Arkansas. These left-wing politicians, they're the ones who don't have an ID how this country's supposed to work. That's our problem right there.
Well, Tom from Wilmington, North Carolina. I read that you are supporting Mark Walker for U.S. Senate from North Carolina. Does this mean that you will not be supporting LARA Trump for the Senate if she runs? I loved President Trump and the job he did for our country and want to see those ideas continue.
Well, LARA Trump has not announced that she's running. Mark Walker has. He is an old-time friend of mine. He was a worship leader and later a pastor in Baptist churches in North Carolina. He's a dear friend and has been for a long time. LARA Trump is terrific, and I love her to death, but she's not indicated that she is running. She's maybe considered it. If she does, then, well, I'll have to explain to President Trump why I'm supporting Mark. Interestingly, though, one of President Trump's favorite people in Congress was, in fact, Mark Walker. So we'll see how it shakes out. But people have a right to run, and sometimes we just stick with the friends we've known the longest and the ones that ask us first. Simple as that.
Well, Mary from Fayetteville, Georgia. Mike, I just have to thank you for having Georgia's Governor Kemp on your show this past weekend. You both made it clear that this was not an effort to make voting harder, only to make it harder to cheat. I've always enjoyed your show, and this one was special for me. Mr. Chang was interesting, and Gordon and his wife are special. Good TV and Christian programs have made my day so much better. God bless you for being you, and thanks for some good news.
Well, thank you. What a delightful letter. I hope we get some more like that, because sometimes we don't get many that are that nice, and we appreciate them every now and then. Well, be sure to leave your questions, your comments, or even your hostile, angry vitriol in the comments below, or you can send them into my2cents@tbn.tv. Now, if you want more videos like that one, hit the subscribe button below and the notification bell right next to it. And if you leave a comment, positive or negative, I'll be sure that my dog Toby sees it and responds to you in kind.